Coldplay's new record, Moon Music, has released, this being a part 2 to the 3-part Space Feel trilogy, with the first one being Music of the Spheres, which you don't need to know my opinion on that, but if you do, I downright think it is dreadful and probably the worst thing that Coldplay have conceived. Since this is part 2, it's definitely not giving me much hope going into the record of it being better, but thank goodness it is nowhere near as close to an earache that record is. The singles have been not the best choices. Feels Like I'm Falling in Love is probably one of the better tracks on the record. It's one of the more kind of down to earth Coldplay tracks that feels like something you've heard from them before, but it's not unbearably in your face annoying as some of their songs could be, especially in the more poppy centric point of the band, where they kind of ditch the part that they were even a rock band at one point, as the Parachutes era is long gone and we enter more Chris Martin pop rock anthems. The track We Pray, the other single, was not anything I enjoyed whatsoever. I found this to be pretty unbearable, especially with the features. Lil Sims, Burna Boy, Liana and Tini, they were not helping this track whatsoever. I think it has some decent beats and production wise, it sounds fine, but I think the overall features just drag it down a whole bunch, to be honest. But the best stuff on this record is easily ones that utilize strings pretty well, and Moon Music is a great way to open the record up. I really love how the strings sound. It gives you this nice spacey, eccentric feel like you're just going into something like 2001 Space Odyssey, and I really enjoy that. I think it definitely is a nice element that Coldplay's been implementing with this record, and there are a few songs like that. The Rainbow Emoji, which I don't know what the song's called because it has a name, but can't think on the top of my head. The strings on that's quite nice, and even One World, it kind of ends on this cinematic closer, and I do like how these songs are longer as well. They're like interludes, but in my opinion they're actually more enjoyable than the base record. Some decent stuff all the way through as a whole when it comes to the strings, but in the bass record I'm not really for digging it. I think Good Feelings and Jupiter tracks that are just avoid like the plague, along with We Pray, because I do not find them interesting, and it really feels like they just bring in elements of Music of the Spheres back with this one. And the second half does have some decent stuff, like I Am is not too bad, but A Eterna is okay as well, but All My Love I just don't really care. I feel like there's some elements to make this a decent listen, but a lot of it kind of falls on itself, which is disappointing because there's a lot more potential in this than any Coldplay album for the last 10 to 15 years. It's kind of a disappointing letdown, to be honest, but it's not the worst thing I've heard from Coldplay. Probably one of the better records in their discography in a long time as well, so I will take a pinch of salt. But yeah, this Coldplay album's not for me. I'm going to have to give it a 2 out of 5.